What?
I'm thinking Skyrim Soul Gem.
Oh, I thought you meant like the
Oh.
Infinity
I
Gems.
think Petty.
And I'm like, there's only one Soul Gem, idiot. It doesn't work that way.
Get real.
Anyway, this is
Why?
a cubic inch of sound, and over the past week, we all possibly watched Half-Life VR, but the AI is self-aware. I'm Luke, and I wear glasses sometimes. I've probably said that before now that I think about it. But it's really relevant, because we were talking about glasses earlier, and I really got to thinking about how I wear glasses sometimes.
I'm Kevin, and I don't.
Yeah, you do, you fucking
Come on,
liar. What do you...
I don't wear it sometimes or all the time.
That's not how that works.
It is how it works. Majority of
No,
my
but
life.
Alright.
when
Well,
you
not
say
majority of
sometimes,
Majority of the
that
time.
means that's like at least
It's
a
not
half of the
sometimes.
time.
I hate it when mommy and daddy argue.
Shut
I
up.
enjoy it.
Go to your
Hi,
room.
I'm Nick, and I hate it when mommy and daddy argue.
You just stole that fun fact from someone else.
That wasn't a fun fact. It was just an exclamation, and I turned
Yeah.
it into a fun fact.
Hi.
I agree.
I'm
I'm on
And it
Nick's
was
side
at
here.
the end of the
I might
day.
have COVID.
Stop!
It was a fun
Stop!
fact.
Stop
Alright, go Dan.
saying things when Dan is saying things. Dan, go again.
Oh boy, I'm Dan, and I might have
That's
COVID.
not good. I mean, like in a
Dan
like a
is the
big
most depressed way.
Stan really dated this podcast.
like a big
Any
a big
time
risk
this year.
of it, or just like a normal risk.
Like, I was exposed to people who were exposed. I have not been exposed directly myself, though. And I am asymptomatic.
Huh. Interesting. Well, I hope that works out fine. I hope you don't die.
I do.
My name is, and my fun fact is,
Are we slowly
He did this
turning
sound
into
effect
an
last
ASMR
time.
channel where you're just gonna give us ASMR of you saying your name is random like sound effects?
yeah, that was the plan.
I don't know if I
I
want to
rolled a
become that.
30.
Honestly, I don't know if that's what I want to do with my life.
I
What
rolled a
was the
30.
noise that you were making? What was
I
that?
didn't hear it. I just heard
That was
Yeah,
dice.
me neither.
I was
No,
rolling
it
dice.
just sounded.
How
sounded
were we
silent
supposed
to
to
me.
know it was rolling dice?
Oh, I was just supposed to make a sound. Who fucking...
It did.
What? That was rolling dice and a train whistle.
I did not hear.
They were
either
both.
of
It
those.
was
I didn't
it was
either of them.
fairly quiet noises, you know.
I thought that was
They're
just
usually
like
loud.
the microphone moving around.
I thought you
a
were
little
like
bit,
shaking
maybe.
salt
Yeah,
or
I-
something.
No, it's my whistle that goes off when there's a sex offender nearby. Ah, shit.
It's very
You're
quiet.
in New York.
Also, what the fuck do you mean you're in New York?
You're Kyle,
not
you're in
nearby.
your own room. That must be going off all the time.
Fuck! They found out that I'm not in Saudi Arabia. Well, fuck. I can't believe Kevin's just out here doxing me.
They're gonna search every square inch of New York.
I guess I have
City.
to delete that part from the
There-
description that I put in every video saying that Kyle's in Saudi Arabia.
They're gonna have to search through
Thank
Gayville,
Kevin.
New York, to see if he's in there.
Listen,
Yeah, now I'm gonna dox Kevin. Kevin's
no,
not.
I need to take that
tweeting.
back. They're not gonna search every square inch. It's gonna be a cubic inch because there's the third dimension. They need to go up in all the towers. You know.
Yeah.
Kyle could be up.
Very good.
I'll never forget that lovely summer afternoon in Gayville.
It was nice. It was okay.
Oh shit! I just
It
realized.
was awful.
Really?
Nothing. There was nothing there.
Well,
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
was
we
pretty
drove
empty.
around.
It was a street, and we're like, "Wow, this sucked." And we left.
The music wasn't really working. Also,
Oh yeah, we listened to the Smash Brothers DVD.
CD. I don't have a Smash Brothers DVD.
All right.
Blu-ray?
Half-Life.
Half-Life. Yes.
but
The AI.
but
We're not doing that.
is self-aware.
Oh yeah, well, actually, I have a few
Go
questions here. So
Don't.
I've never played Half-Life, so like I found myself at a couple points in the series, not sure what was Half-Life and what was
You've
not
never
Half-Life.
played Half-Life? Really?
Just give me like a brief rundown.
Yeah, I
Oh.
haven't either.
Luke,
Yeah,
you're
I've
saying that
never
like
also
people will
played
go back
Half-Life.
and play original Half-Life.
I mean, I don't know. I assume that everybody's at least tried Half-Life. You know, it's one of those games.
nope.
I've played like
I played like
3
the
hours
first
of Half-Life
15
now.
minutes.
I've never even tried.
Okay.
I don't know if it's 3 hours. I got to the giant monster that was like kept tapped in the
That's
silo. it
probably
was in.
about 3 hours. Yeah. Wait,
I
you've
played,
only
like,
gotten to that
15
point in
minutes.
Why did I think that Kevin has gotten farther in Half-Life than that?
I almost beat Blue Shift.
Huh. Interesting. So anyway, so
I like
Um,
Blue Shift more.
That's a good fun fact.
most of what they encountered in the game was Aside, obviously, the AI people were not supposed to be there. Benry was not supposed to be Benry.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Most of what they encountered as far as
Oh,
like
no.
monsters and like the rocket ships and stuff was there. When they end up teleporting to what's called Zen at the end is like the alien planet. That's all part of it. Obviously, they like Gordon Freeman just fights a giant alien monster. It's not a giant version of a security guard who is some sort of eldritch abomination, as it turns out.
Oh, I
I
thought.
remember this game very differently.
Did he have the gun
Yeah.
arm?
He does actually
No.
get kidnapped by the soldiers. That is a real thing that happens. Is like, there's one part probably halfway through the game where you go into a room, the lights turn out like they do in this, and you hear the soldiers like beating you up and then bringing you into the garbage compactor, and then you have to just like escape from there. But you don't lose a hand or anything like in this.
So-
I remember there was actually like cut content from Blue Shift originally
Hold
where
on.
you could like reach that point and you had to like save Gordon, and if you didn't, he would die. And it's like, wait a minute, maybe that's kind of fucked up. We shouldn't kill the protagonist if you play the game wrong in Blue Shift.
Well, why the soldiers kidnapped Gordon and brought him to the guard? Why didn't they just fucking kill him?
Because they're stupid. I don't know.
What? They could have just
The
shot him in the
entire
fucking
U.S.
head. Why did they dump
military
him in
is
a garbage
comprised of
compactor?
idiots, morons.
Gordon, we've
They
now
wanted,
wiped
they
out
wanted
the
him to be
entire
sad
US
before he died. They wanted him to be very distressed and sad when they shot him.
What did they say? The guards were talking about that. They're like, hey, why don't we just kill him now?
Yeah,
And they're
so
like, nah,
so
we
they
can't."
were bringing him up for questioning, and then they were like, "Ooh, why don't we just kill him?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll throw him into the thing. They'll never find the body, haha." But like they could have just shot him instead of throwing him into a giant fucking crusher and trying to kill him that way.
Oh, they threw him on the wrong
In
side. Yeah.
in the YouTube series they did. In the real game they don't. You have to escape. Yeah.
Yes.
That was a really wacky moment.
I fucking hate Benny so much.
Yeah,
You
that
hate
was
what?
really annoying.
He was like literally the least enjoyable character
Really?
to watch, and
Yeah.
he's the reason why I didn't watch this
I-
series originally.
Did you say Henry?
Benry.
Yeah, okay.
I hated
Fucking
Gordon
hate
the
him
most.
so much. I liked Act 2 the most because he wasn't in it like at
Wait,
all.
Dan, you hated Gordon the most?
Yeah, I enjoyed all the other characters except Gordon.
Yeah, I agree with Dan. He was not.
It's
I liked him.
He was
I liked him when he
funny.
wasn't doing the fake acting like later on. Like he was acting the
I
whole
agree.
time,
That's fair.
but at the
Yeah.
end he was getting like he was trying too hard. And he's like, ah, my arm, it really hurts. And it's like, dude, you're not.
All of the attempted drama falls flat. Every single bit. It
I
doesn't
agree.
matter which part. It's like the three characters that are good are Dr. Coomer in this order: Dr. Coomer, Dr. Bubby, and the other the
Tommy.
kid are tied. I can't remember his name.
Tommy.
Tommy, yeah. Dr. Bubby and Tommy are tied, and then Dr. Coomer, like the way the guy played him, he actually seems the most AI out of all of them.
Yeah.
So like, they were all funny, and I get that like Gordon is supposed. You got to have a straight man to play off of. Like if
Gordon's
somebody,
supposed to be, like,
if they're all
player.
wacky characters, it doesn't work. So if you don't have a straight man, you know it's not funny. So Gordon had to be the straight man, but he was like every situation he would act the same exact way. He would just be like, "Wow, that's wacky," and then somebody would say something, and he'd be like, "Ha," and then
Yeah, he would
move
just
on.
like.
So you guys
Yeah,
actually liked
a lot.
Bubby
The
then?
thing is that
To an
he's like
action
the
scene.
self. I think that he was supposed to be like the self-insert for the player, and they're supposed to be like, bro, what the fuck? Why is this all stupid? I didn't expect it to be like this. And all the characters are kind of like changing how the game would play normally.
Yeah, but he wasn't playing it like he was playing a player. He was playing it like he was actually Gordon Freeman.
He
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
he was half and
A lot.
half. That is one of the things I was gonna bring up was that half of the time not even half the time, just occasionally he will mention like, oh, it's AI, or like, oh, this is a weird part of the game, or he'll bring up something from real life that's like it's obviously supposed to be
Played TF2 in
he's
his
supposed to
dream.
be Wayne Radio TV and not like actual AI Gordon Freeman. But then half the time he'll be like, you know, reacting as if he is Gordon Freeman himself, and like he brings up his son
Yeah.
at the very beginning, which is sort of weird because like what does this guy think that Gordon Freeman has a son? He doesn't canonically. But I mean, I don't really care, honestly. It's.
I feel like it would have
This
been
has
way
been
better
Luke's
if he
lore
was.
check corner for the
No, I
week.
just wanted to point out.
I wish he just like chose the side, you know?
Yeah.
Like a lane.
Or like.
I feel like it was too improv. Like if it seemed like they didn't, at least he didn't have too much of a plan going into it. He was like, oh, we can just improv.
No, that's
'Cause he's
great.
like,
I like that.
I think they should have had some sort of idea of what they were going for. More,
I think that
at
was
least.
a problem in Act 1.
A lot of the time it seemed like
Because
Yeah,
in Act
there's definitely
1,
more
they
prominent
definitely,
there.
like, were just kind of going through things and, like, coming up with shit on the fly. Like, Bubby, he was going to come up with a better name than Bubby, but because he was put on the spot of, like, what's your name, and he couldn't think of anything, that's the whole fucking reason, you know? Like there was no
yeah.
thought put into that.
No, I kind of like that. They were put on the spot and like, oh fuck, I have to think about something, and then they had to make it work later
Yeah.
on. And I feel like most of the time they made it work.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's what's good about later on, is that they could sort of plan and say, like, okay, we want to have a Dr. Coomer boss battle happen right now, which, like, they obviously weren't going to pull out of nowhere in Act 1.
You know what? Actually, what took me out of it was the fucking Twitch chat. They got rid of it later on.
Hmm.
There's always like donations coming in and just people just like talking about shit. I felt like I was reading the chat sometimes instead of actually like watching it.
Huh.
I think my favorite joke was Tommy's last name of Kulada. Because like if I was a child with the mental age of Tommy, I would choose Kulada
If
as
you
my
were
last name.
I don't think a
if
child
you were
would choose
in
Culotta
a
as their last
Dunkin'
name.
Donuts and they asked you to pick a last name and you chose the first thing that you saw,
I would have totally.
What would
chosen
be the
Kulada.
best Dunkin' Donuts last name?
Daniel Strawberry Kulada.
I feel it's got to
Donuts
be like,
would be a good one.
donuts.
Style donuts, yeah. It's got a ring to it.
What's a kind of
Cruller.
donut? That
Cruller would be a
name.
good one.
Daniel Strawberry
Are you
Boston.
talking about like an actual last name or like a wacky, crazy last name?
I don't know.
Because like Cruller would probably be a decent last name.
Tile Dunkin' Donuts
Oh, yeah.
special
But anyway,
Halloween.
character-wise,
spider-frosted
I'm
donut.
surprised that you guys don't, or you
I
guys
had one of those
are
spider frost.
not completely indifferent to Bubby, who, in my opinion, is easily the weakest character. Like, I think
Bubby picked up.
Bubby's
I didn't
fine.
think any. I mean, actually, the line where he said that man's non-Euclidean, that was funny. I liked that. I made that my Discord status. The line where he said like, he said something about like if there was a god, they wouldn't. That wouldn't be a part of their plan after
wouldn't be
they
in his
saw the
plan.
helicopter heap. That was good.
Yeah.
Other than that, I can't think
He
of any
felt like-
fucking funny Bubby lines at all.
Was he
I
the
feel
one
like he
who
was
brought
just
up?
playing off of the other doctor who was like doing like a way better performance, and he would just be like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
science."
Yeah,
What he said.
Sort of. I mean,
I thought
yeah. Go ahead, Dan.
I thought he picked up towards the end where he became like really like narcissistic and was like, "I'm the most powerful being here." I liked when he started going.
Yeah,
that
I
stuff.
mean, that was
That was
like.
good, yeah.
They at least tried to give him a bit more characterization, especially towards the end, like you said. But I really didn't think that he had the comedy to like fully keep up, you know, or like maybe he did, but he's always just gonna be compared to Coomer, like Kevin was saying, and Coomer's just the best, the best.
Coomer's like the best part. He's so
Yeah.
quotable.
Yeah, he is. He's also got he is the only AI, aside from arguably Benry, who actually becomes self-aware. You know, the whole premise of the series was a lie from the very beginning, because most of the AIs are not self-aware. But Coomer's whole arc of like, as he slowly realizes more and more that the whole thing is a lie, just like, I thought that was really enjoyable for what it was, you know?
Yeah, I'll take back what I said about the fake drama. The Coomer monologue where he says, "Every time you go to sleep, I can feel myself being ripped apart atom by atom." That one worked. That one definitely worked.
I think
But everyone else,
most of the drama, I never felt like... Well, actually, I never felt like it was legitimately dramatic until the very ending when Coomer talks about... he talks about, like, bringing the AIs into other games and stuff. I was like, aw, because they don't want to die. They don't want to never be booted up again.
Yeah, it's like Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, it's like Wreck-It Ralph. That I did kind of feel something. The rest, I was like, this is just here to make things more interesting from like straight Half-Life, but people react to things. And, like, in that way, I think it was done perfectly fine. You know, in the way of, like, look, they betray Gordon at this point. Whoa, what's gonna happen? Oh, look, now they're doing this thing. Oh, now they gotta fight a million Dr. Coomer clones who are flying around.
Actually, it was easily like the worst.
Back to Bubby, actually. I thought Bubby was really funny when they found him in his tube.
Yeah, the tube one was good.
Yeah,
The
it's
tube bit
alright.
was good.
It's fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Also,
I don't know. It's the only reason I'd say that Tommy and Bubby are tied is because, like, Bubby has fewer jokes that land than Tommy, but Tommy also never says stuff. You only get like 3 Tommy lines an episode, basically.
do you?
That's untrue.
I mean, except for like the time. Okay,
Not quotable
when I say
lines or just
3
like
Tommy lines an episode, you get like a third as many as the other characters. He talks a
speaks
lot less.
Yeah. No, I think he talks.
He definitely doesn't. We watched a different show.
I don't know. I thought that there were enough Tommy lines to go around.
I'm not saying that there weren't enough Tommy lines because it worked.
literally were.
Yeah, it sounds like exactly what you were
Yeah, that
saying.
was
I'm
your
saying that's
entire
why he's
argument.
as good as. But look, if there were more Tommy lines, I would have liked it more. But there weren't that many Tommy lines.
How do we all
You know
feel
who had
about
a lot of lines?
Who?
Gordon.
Bubby?
I think
Kevin's
we
just not
named
gonna
all of
answer.
them except who he's going for.
I forgot his name. I'm waiting for someone to say it. Benry.
Not Forzen, that's for sure, because Forzen shows up like twice and they forget his name the first time.
Oh, what was the other guy who showed up in the
Darnold.
mixer room?
Yeah, Darnold also is.
Yeah.
Darnold was pretty weak. Darnold wasn't really funny at all.
Well, okay.
At
Darnold
least
was
he wasn't
weak,
offensive.
and then the one joke that was funny from him was he was like, "I'm ready. We're gonna go. This is amazing. It's gonna be so exciting." Then he sees one person die and just starts vomiting.
Yeah, I mean it was
Yeah.
fine. I was kind of just relieved at that point, like, oh, thank God, I don't have to hear more of fucking Darnold.
Look, yeah, but we had to deal with fucking Benry the whole time.
Yeah, but Benry's
I like-
hilarious.
No, he
Henry is
isn't.
not fucking funny. Okay,
He
here's
was
the
so
thing, right?
fucking annoying.
There's a way to do a funny antagonist, and that isn't him sitting there just like saying the opposite or like just being annoying to the person that you're supposed to be like is the main character. Like he's not fucking like that funny. The lines that I really liked from him where he was just trying to like undermine Gordon, but subtly, not just sitting there annoying him about his passport. Like,
Yes, no.
he was
that-
like, "I'm editing your Wikipedia article. I said you died and all dogs go to heaven too."
Yeah,
that was
I
funny.
agree. That
I
was
like
funny.
that
That's
also.
why, like,
But then, like every other time where he's like, "Where's your passport, buddy?" Or like
what about when he tries to kiss him?
um,
What about when he tries
What?
to kiss Gordon?
that one was
when
weird.
he says
I
I
feel
like the view from back here because he's going up right behind Gordon.
I thought Benry
And every time any character uses the Black Mesa sweet voice, it's pretty good, except for when Benry does it.
I mean,
He's
the
the
only
main
one who does
one
it.
who does it. Yeah.
Dr. Coomer does it a couple of times, but like I'm saying, like he does it a lot, and it kind of gets obnoxious. Also, the skeleton was weird.
blue to
Skeleton
green
was-
means it's time to
it
be.
was alright. So Benry, like the one complaint I had about the show from like the first 5 minutes I watched was, man, this passport joke isn't funny. And then they kept bringing it back and made it the whole plot.
I mean, I think
Yeah, I agree. With
I
Kevin
agree
on
that in
one.
Act 1 they overused it. When it sort of goes on the back burner and then just like comes back every once in a while, I'm fine
It
with
goes
it.
on the back burner because he's not in the show anymore. Like he was out for Act 2, and that's when it was good.
I don't know. There's
then he
still
came back
there were
and
at
then it
least a lot of
continued.
parts of Act 2 where he was there. Like, you know, the whole Wikipedia part, that was Act 2.
Y'all are just trying to gaslight us because Kevin didn't see him in part 2, and I didn't see that many Tommy lines, so it was different. It literally, the show
It's
changes for everyone who watches
personalized.
it.
The AI was self-aware.
Yeah, the AI is not the characters. The AI is the actual the show changes itself.
hmm
Oh.
Also, what
It determines what you want and does the opposite.
Yeah.
really? Well, this was most of what I wanted, so I'm pretty satisfied.
Well, the
Just
opposite of that would have
bad-
been so good, Luke. It would have like absolutely blown your socks
Shit,
off.
I'm not even wearing
Yeah.
socks.
Exactly.
Blue
Yeah, it would have knitted socks for you. And
No,
then
I was
fucking
thinking
worn
that
them
like
off.
the skin
Idiot.
on my feet would have just.
No, that's
Yeah.
just gross.
I mean, foot skin is not socks. That's
But I'm not wearing socks,
Put
so
that
it
in a
would have.
t-shirt.
I don't know. That's probably the next best thing.
Yeah, when we inevitably get a cubic inch of sound merch, that's gonna be our first T-shirt. Is foot skin is.
I
not
really
sock.
hope it's not. I thought you were gonna say socks. I thought you said we were gonna sell socks. That would have made a little bit of sense.
I feel like it should be something to do with Indiana Jones.
Wait.
being a sex
What if
icon or something like
what
that.
if we had socks, but the image on the socks is just feet?
That would be good merch. That would be something I would be proud to wear.
We could even scan my feet in with a Foot Scanner HD, which was also a Benry joke for the record. Gordon Feetman.
Kevin McPhee.
we can just make merch of things that we review, so we don't have to come up with anything.
I don't think we're allowed to
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
we buy a shitload of like Dear Wormwood shirts and like fucking and like the
Sell
White
them.
House merch, and then we just like fucking resell it with like our
we
names
just
on
write
it.
a
Like, we
cubic
just
inch of
sign it and
sound
then
in the
flip it.
corner of the shirt.
Yeah, and like Sharpie.
With a Sharpie.
I think we should just make sweatshirts with each of our faces
That's
on them. and sell
awful.
those.
That's a horrifying. A sweatshirt with just a minimalist version of your face.
No, not minimalist. Just our actual face.
Yeah, no, like
Yeah.
our faces and like the Infinity Gauntlet.
There's
you know?
not
like
6 of us.
all the Infinity. Well, you know what?
But then
We can
again,
make
like,
it work. It's the
Kelsey's only
fucking
been
artist.
on one episode. We don't need to include her. Whatever.
Wow.
Use the soul stone.
Fucking look at all these straight men disregarding women again. Now me, on the other hand,
Who are you gonna
I
disregard?
would put Kelsey on the merch. I'm gonna disregard all the straight men. It'll just be me and Kelsey on merch. That's it.
Well, that'll be epic. I'm sure the Kyle and Kelsey merch will sell millions.
Yeah, when we come out with merch in like 3 years or whatever, there's gonna be one with just Kyle and Kelsey, and people are gonna be like, "What the hell? Why is this here?"
The comedy duo and the straight men.
Man, we have like they had one straight man in Gordon, but we just have a bunch of straight men here. This probably isn't gonna work, guys. I don't think we're funny enough to warrant this.
We need to get wacky.
I can be wacky. I can whack.
We need to get
I've
less
whacked.
straight.
Or as Dan said, Dan needs to get quirky again.
I'm
Dan
not
hasn't been
quirky,
quirky for a while.
Make Dan quirky again, you know?
But I've never been
Can we
quirky.
talk about the fact that the first word canonically that Gordon Freeman says is howdy? He just
Canonically to this or canonically
I
to
choose to
Half-Life?
believe Half-Life. I think that this is pretty much
Okay.
as canon as anything, right?
Yeah, that's actually what
Yeah,
happens.
oh,
at
I
the
mean,
end of Half-Life
it
Alyx.
is on the like actual Half-Life wiki.
Is it?
So,
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know about that.
Oh,
yeah, I'm looking
I
at
did
it.
know about the fact that the Wikipedia page for All Dogs Go to Heaven 2 is protected because people kept vandalizing it and saying that Gordon Freeman dies because of that one fucking joke. That one, like, top-notch, Class A joke.
okay.
I like-
well, now we
I
know
like-
what we
I like-
have to do, which is make a Death Wiki page for All Dogs Go to Heaven 2 and put Gordon
Oh,
Freeman
shit,
in
that's
it.
actually pretty good.
I
I
like
hadn't thought of that.
describing editing the Wikipedia page as vandalizing it.
Well, it's true.
And then that actually happens.
It is. It's just. It's. I've never heard it before.
Remember, graffiti is never the answer.
I think.
Never.
Well,
Sometimes.
Quick,
I think it
graffiti
is.
to save your
No.
life.
Yeah. No, like
Property is more important
Never
than human
mind.
lives,
I was
objectively.
about to get political. Don't want that to happen.
When Sunkiss showed up at the end, I was getting Avengers Endgame vibes from Portal, like the Portal
Yeah,
scene.
yeah,
Like,
I know what
nah.
you mean. But it was
That
really
was great.
just. I mean, it was kind of like Coomer powered up, Sunkissed showed up. They didn't have Darnold show up or anything. Now,
Darnold and Poison.
What the fuck was Donald gonna do?
He was going to drink his thing, but
I
like
mean-
more of it, so we'd have gun feet.
if he
And
can
then
make
he'd shoot
potions,
at
he can
Arnold
make
was voiced by the same
he
person
can make
as
potions
Benry,
of harming.
so would have been weird.
I mean, the skeleton's voiced by the same person as Benry, but they show up. They show up at the same time. Think about that one.
There were 3 different voices for skeletons in this.
Yeah, can we analyze the artistic, like meaning behind the skeleton and like what that represented in the grand scheme of the
No.
metaphorical like?
I think
Yeah,
it was
I don't think we should.
the deteriorated insanity of Gordon. Like, by the time he got to the end, it was just him fighting an army of his own
I did
madness.
really enjoy the helicopter heap scene where the skeleton is sitting on a fighter jet as it passes by, and he's just hanging out. And then
How did they pull that off? Are like the jets just like unloaded until they
They're-
show up or something?
they're just,
Hit the trigger?
They just sit there until the player comes in, and then they fly by. You know. I think that it was considering so they were in the skybox. You know how like source skyboxes work is that they're like another part of the map.
Yeah.
So the skeleton just sat on top of one of those, and he hadn't triggered it yet because he was in the skybox and not in the actual part of the map. But what happened with the helicopter heap was that they weren't even intending for that many helicopters to spawn in. For some reason, the game just glitched out when like everybody was in the loading zone, and it just kept spawning helicopters in the same spot. And they were all like, "What the fuck is going on?" And nobody knew. But I think that's funny that was.
Oh yeah, wasn't there a behind the scenes?
Yeah,
and
I
you
watched
that?
most of it. That's funny to me that the helicopter heap was literally just a fucking glitch. And they.
What do you mean, Luke? Every character was a glitch. They were
Oh,
all
yeah,
AIs.
I also like the scene in which Dr. Coomer like comes back to life and shows up with a physics gun from Gmod because the whole thing was in Gmod and he just forgot to switch weapons.
Yeah. And he runs behind the corner and like Gordon looks away so
Yeah.
he can
And he's like, "Oh, come out, Dr. Coomer. It's all right. We're not angry at you anymore." every once in a while.
So it's kind of crazy how they got all the scripting from Half-Life 1. Can you just play all of Half-Life 1
these
in Gmod?
are like maps that are just somebody threw Half-Life 1 in. Some of it. So another part where it broke was near the very beginning. There's like a Half-Life 2 Barney that's like A-posing in the laser grid room.
Yeah.
That also wasn't put there by them. That was just glitched from the Half-Life 1 maps in Gmod. And Gordon just walks by and says, "I don't know what's going on with that guy."
And I believe
Yeah.
him.
I mean, he really didn't. He was right.
He really did sell the whole "I don't know what's going on" vibe.
It really did seem like he didn't know what's going on. Because a lot of times he didn't, because the other people were just kind of like doing things without telling the Gordon player. You guys.
This show, like in its entirety, reminded me of just like a faster-paced Shadow of Israfel, because all the NPCs or AI in Shadow of Israfel, they're played by real people, but they use the text chat. And Simon and Lewis were playing Minecraft, and they were actual like players, and they knew they were in the game. So like they were real people reacting. So it was a different experience watching this, like in a different point of view, I guess I'm gonna say. It's not really a different point of view, but you know what I mean.
Different vibes.
Kevin, how did you like the Blue Powerade references? I thought you'd enjoy that.
Come on, Kevin, you, the Blue Powerade,
Mr.
connoisseur,
Blue
like, I
Powerade
feel like-
himself sees Blue Powerade and isn't even impressed.
The guy who had a blue Powerade float and smiled.
There have been other people who had Blue Powerade floats, but they did not smile. They frowned in disgust. Ew, the Blue Powerade float. Kevin, he has a strong ass will. He drinks that shit. He thinks it's great.
Like there had to have been at least one other person to drink it, because when I ordered it, they're like, "Really?" Like,
Yeah, that guy.
I mean,
thought
you
he was
can
gonna
do it.
kill
Someone
you.
has like done something like this before.
Maybe the other.
Yeah, the guy who was giving it to you thought he was going to make you sick or something. Like, he
Yeah.
thought it was going to
And
cause.
it
damage.
worried me, and I'm like, hey, "Do I feel sick? I don't know." It made me feel like I was gonna feel like I'm sick, but for a second, he got in my head, and I was like, I'm fine.
I don't think I can look at Kevin the same way
What,
again.
knowing he had a Blue
Why?
Powerade float?
Me neither.
What the fuck is that what I assume that it is? Is that
Yes.
it's vanilla ice cream and blue Powerade?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Seltzer.
disgusting.
I got it at Disney. They're like, "Hey, we can put any
Disney?
soft drink."
Uh,
Yeah, we went to Disney World.
Who says?
So they're like, "Hey, we can put any soft drink we have in a float." And I saw all of them, and I'm like, "They have Powerade in this list. They have Powerade here. I would like a Powerade float." And they looked at me, and they're like, "What? You sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then they did it. And then I had it. I drank it. The whole thing. It was insane. You should have been there.
that has the same vibe as Coke milk, where people just mix milk
Coke milk
and
is
Coke.
not a thing. That's
I don't
not
think
real.
people actually
You're
do
making
that.
this up. Stop lying. Stop
Yes,
lying
it
to
is. Look it
us.
up. No, look it up.
No,
Look up
fuck
Coke
you.
milk.
They will
The only
not give you
time I've
Coke milk
ever
at Disney.
The only time I've ever seen anything like that was in middle school, when one of the science teachers just like put milk in Pepsi and then left it on the windowsill for like an entire year, just to see what would happen.
What happened?
Science.
That's
there.
also that's the wrong chat. That's similarly disgusting.
You
But
know what
somehow
happened to it? It got
makes
put
me
in
want to
your
vomit less than Blue Powerade float.
You're wrong.
I heard they use these to get all around the science. You guys know that Gabe Newell has a big knife collection? Yeah,
Does he
apparently,
actually?
I didn't. I looked it up when I watched this.
Yeah, I didn't know that
Because I
either.
was
Kyle.
like, wait, does Gabe Newell actually have a giant ass knife collection? Yeah, there's an image of Gabe Newell's knife collection. It's just like a bunch of knives from Gabe Newell himself.
Oh, look it up now.
Are they like impressive, or is it just like a pile of knives?
It's like a shelf of knives. I mean, I don't really know
They're
enough
all
about
kitchen
knives to
They're all the
tell you
same.
if these are good knives or not, but they might be.
There's a lot of
Do they
knives.
look cool?
I don't remember. Dan, do they look cool? Are you looking at them right now?
I can't find it high enough for his image to like really look at it, but I'm trying.
All right, real quick,
Yeah,
I have a
go
question to ask. I'm gonna steal Luke's
What?
closing question. Chuck E. Cheese, restaurant or not a restaurant?
I
No,
went
it's an arcade.
restaurant, but
It's an arcade that has food.
Yeah,
I kind
What
I'm
is
gonna
Dave &
agree with
Buster's?
G-Man here and
Same
say
thing.
that that Chuck E. Cheese has restaurant aspects to it, but that doesn't make it as a building.
I
I
think
a
it's-
100%
I think
agree
it-
with you, man.
G-Man.
I think it has a restaurant. Like, it encloses a restaurant. That's part of it. Because part
You
of it
can-
is
okay.
like,
An entertainment center can sell food.
Mhm.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
can get pizza at Fun Junction, but it is still an arcade.
I guess nowadays it's just a restaurant.
Nowadays, yeah, actually, it is a restaurant.
Nowadays, it doesn't fucking
no,
exist.
they sell pizza.
There's like half of them still exist. They just closed half of them or something.
Yeah, the one,
Yeah,
the one
okay,
on
my bad.
on Route 1 in Attleboro.
Nearby.
It's got pizza still. I see there.
not that we live anywhere near
I
there.
can say I live near Attleboro. Fuck, I don't care. Fucking dox me. I don't give a shit. I will
live
literally
in
kill anybody
Attleboro.
who tries to kill me. That's how self-defense works.
Anybody
Anyone
who
who steps
enters
foot in
Attleboro,
Attleboro.
anybody who enters Attleboro will die by Luke's hand.
Hey, so a
True,
cubic inch of sound actually works on Highlander rules. So if you kill Luke, you get the podcast. But
Oh shit!
But you have
Isn't
to.
that just like Elder Wand rules? Oh wait, no, that's the opposite of Elder Wand. You gotta disarm. We gotta disarm a
If
cubic
you,
inch of sound.
yeah, I mean, I guess
Luke.
if you steal the podcast from me, then yeah, you get the podcast. That feels like how it works.
Well, they have to decapitate you.
What?
I thought
Otherwise
we
they
just
don't
said
get
it was
No,
Elder
that's-
Wand
Dan's
rules.
going off Highlander rules.
Is it Highlander or Elder Wand? These are very different sets of
It's
rules.
Highlander rules.
Highlander.
Both.
Elder Wand.
Yeah, no, it's actually it's internet Highlander. So if you DDoS Luke, you
Please
get the
don't say
podcast.
that.
It's actually President rules. If you die, the second in command
That
gets
feels
the
like
podcast
it makes
and so
the
on.
most amount of sense, if I'm being honest.
Like,
I mean, if you die, we'd probably stop the
You guys wouldn't
podcast.
do the podcast if I was dead?
I don't know.
reasonably, I feel like Nick would be second in
Luke seems
command.
upset.
because he
Luke, you
tries
need to go edit your
more
will
than me.
right now. So
But I-
that you can
I
do
have
the podcast
equal
when you're dead.
rights to this, you know?
Listen,
I was there in
okay,
the
I
beginning.
can't write in my will that you
true.
guys have to keep doing the podcast, but if I were dead, I feel like, you know, I would be happier knowing that you guys continued it in my memory.
Luke, you were thinking about not continuing it,
I
and we're all like, oh,
can't.
that's it. Guess we're not doing it anymore. You're like,
I can't wait for a
didn't
cubic
even have
inch
to
of
die.
sound Luke's funeral.
Yeah. We'll start with saying, Luke, stay dead if you don't want us to do the podcast anymore. And if you stay dead, then we'll just have to stop.
guys, we're reviewing a cubic inch of Luke's grave.
We already did.
Fuck you! I just
We
made
already
that joke,
did
you cunt.
another
Fuck you.
graveyard.
Did?
He said
I
funeral.
I literally just said I can't wait for a cubic inch of sound Luke's funeral, but no,
I-
fuck me.
Yeah,
Did
I
anyone
did,
hear
and I
that?
thought it was
Guys,
funny.
We should do it soon.
I heard it.
We should do a whole
I didn't hear it
series
at all. I
on
guess I
every
was talking
aspect of
over him.
Luke's life and break it down bit by
Kevin talking over the minority again.
Spider
Again?
Ham does not count as a
Again?
minority.
I don't like that sentence.
He is the only pig.
Another T-shirt?
We don't have to make T-shirts out of every fucking out of context thing that we say.
Put it on a t-shirt. Put it on a t-shirt.
Save it for the t-shirt.
Fuck
Can we talk
T-shirt,
about the fact
bro.
that Bubby turns into a car in Act 4 and it's not brought up again and it wasn't brought up any time before that?
Well, yeah, some people have
I
this.
don't think we should bring it up.
Oh,
I agree.
okay. Well, I guess we won't talk about it then.
All in favor of never bringing it up again, say aye. Aye.
I'm not
Anyway,
even-
I was gonna also bring up. I actually had
motion
forgotten to
passes.
say this earlier, but Dave and Buster's. I feel like we could maybe say that it has a restaurant inside of it and an arcade. Like just because the Dave and Buster's I know are
Mhm.
big enough that I would consider that restaurant to be in of itself a restaurant. You know.
I think
Yeah.
Dave is the restaurant part, and Buster's is the other part.
I think proportionally speaking, like Chuck E. Cheese is like 60% restaurant, 40% arcade, and Dave and Buster's is more 50-50 split.
No. Chuck E.
Portions are
Cheese.
bigger, so it's more reasonably called a restaurant.
Wait, are you saying Chuck E. Cheese is more a restaurant than Dave and
Yeah.
Buster's?
Proportionally speaking,
I don't know if that's the
think
best
no.
way to
bigger
decide it
percentage.
though.
Chuck E.
I
Cheese
don't
is
think
like
that makes any
40%. Chuck E. Cheese is like 40% arcade, 40% playground, 20%
I mean, the thing is, right? Because
Yeah, I think
if
that's
I'm
more accurate.
if I'm just selling food, that doesn't necessarily make a restaurant. Like a concession stand at a movie theater, right? I would consider
Yeah.
that not to be a restaurant just because they're serving like fucking concession stand food. You know, it's shitty. If you had a movie theater with a whole like Chili's inside of it, then it would be a restaurant inside of a movie theater, and that would be acceptable.
Yeah, the reason why I'm like kind of on the fence about Chuck E. Cheese being a restaurant or not is because like you get pizza and then like sit down and eat it generally. Like that's the idea. So that seems pretty restaurant-y to me.
What, you wouldn't like climb into the tubes and smear your pizza all along it?
I never
then
went to
look
Chuck
at
E.
Why?
Cheese.
Why would I
Stop.
do that?
Didn't I feel like me and
No,
Kevin have talked about this before, not going to Chuck E. Cheese when we were kids.
I love Chuck E. Cheese. It's a
Biggest
great
regret of my
time.
life.
I went to Chuck E. Cheese. I never went to Dave. I've never been to a
Really?
Dave and Buster's.
Well,
Sucks
at
to
some
you.
point I'll have to take you out to a Dave and Buster's.
Ooh, it's a date.
Yeah, sure. You can
Buster.
you
Keep
can
it
call
into the
anything a
date.
date if you want it to be. Actually, that would be so fun recording an episode.
That would be
like
yeah.
before and after we go to Dave and Buster's. Like, well, with a car ride
Oh.
there and back, you know, just me and Kyle.
You should do
That-
that.
No, I
Yeah,
was
that'd be
thinking
kinda
we all
fun.
just get a
We
date
just have, like,
and then
one
we
of you
talk.
talk.
And then before that episode, you can do a cubic inch of sound driving 6.5 hours to go get Kyle to do the David Buster's
Well,
episode.
if I'm it's depending on where I'm staying at the time, you know? Like I might be closer than 6 hours.
You could meet halfway at it and then do it
At
instead.
it? It is
Yeah.
not
It.
halfway.
Well, it's closer.
No, it's,
It's like-
not.
How the fuck?
It
Is-
isn't
isn't it-
Connecticut.
Isn't?
Yeah, and from
Is
Rhode
that, hold on, wait.
is a
What if I were to be like,
pretty
hey Google, find me a Dave and Buster's halfway between Syracuse, New York, and
Like
Rhode Island?
New York. Okay. I never knew where in
no,
New York.
you were just guessing somewhere else, New York.
I think he was assuming New York City.
He lived near the greatest population density.
I mean,
in New
probably
York.
honestly, Albany is
feel like-
probably halfway between Providence
I
and
live-
Syracuse.
I live nowhere near any of these places. I live in upstate New York. I live in the middle of fucking cowfucker country in New York.
Oh.
But if I'm already in Albany, then halfway between Albany and Syracuse would be like Utica. Yeah. I don't think we want to meet there.
Utica's not that bad.
I don't know, is it?
Utica College is really nice.
Is there Dave and Buster's in Utica?
I
College?
bet there's a Dave and Buster's in Utica.
I'm so upset. No, so when I was in the Boy Scouts, we used to do a bunch of like nature hikes, obviously as Boy Scouts do. But like one of the things we went to was Utica College has this really pretty winter garden where like they have all of the ecology and stuff there classified and everything has a tag on it. And it's really nice because it's all like year round shit. So you can go there in the middle of summer and it looks the same as it does in winter. When we were pulling in, this is when I was like 14 and I was the oldest person in the car. When we were pulling in, my friend Richard's dad just goes, "Ah, yes, Utica College. If any of you guys like Asian girls, come here."
What?
Oh,
Which was weird.
That's definitely an odd thing.
Yo,
to
can I get
say.
the address?
Is it an accurate thing to say? Is
I-
that like
I think so. It's a big mathematics college, but I don't.
I mean, to be fair, there are a lot of Asian people at the college I go to, but not a lot of girls. So
yeah, same here.
it's kind of half that, you know. Can you believe that they wiped out the entire military though? After
How many
entire
times
After
US
Forzen
military.
was the last one alive.
I believe it.
Could
I think it's a good
could
move.
4 people wipe out the entire U.S. military? If the military invested all of
Depends
their
on the 4
money
people.
into the helicopter heap, then I'm gonna say maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
They still have
definitely,
guns.
100%.
And also, the helicopter heap was pretty
It
dangerous.
was
It may not have been in God's plan, but it was in America's plan.
who's America?
The U.S.
Oh.
military.
Who is America? Don't.
We are
I mean-
America.
Oh, also, you guys remember like the
stop
AI
going.
voice, like the red text that would come on every once in a while?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
apparently
Yeah.
just a part of Half-Life 1. Like the announcer voice that you can kind of just like make it say different things if like it has certain words that it can say. Which is very fucking strange.
That's why he never said Beyblade.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But they just got it to say like rocket launch good was a note that I took because I thought it was really fucking funny how the announcer was trying to get them to launch the rocket at the end of Act 2, but could only say certain things. So at the end it's just like rocket launch good. Anyway, oh, also, wait a minute. There was one part. Oh, this is what it was. There's one part where, at the very end, when they need to take Gordon back to the locker room from the very beginning, he says, "I need to take you back to the past." And I hadn't even realized that the first time I watched this, but I realized that's from the fucking Angry Video Game Nerd. That's, you know, there's the whole thing with Forzen is trying to say that
Yeah.
Irate Gamer was not a ripoff of AVGN. He's gonna take you back to the past is the intro to the AVGN.
That's actually really good.
And apparently,
clever.
people watch AVGN when they're trying to sleep. There was a whole thing about that in the commentary
What?
of watching AVGN at night and then getting the recommendations.
Like they watch it in a way, like they try to sleep thanks
Yeah,
to
I
it.
mean, I assume like if
Like
you,
ASMR
yeah, if, you,
type deal.
if you're going to bed and it's like, oh, I'll watch one video before bed. I'll watch the Angry Video Game Nerd. I assume it's like that.
Oh, I see. That makes sense.
I've never really watched AVGN. I've always just kind of lumped him in with people like the Nostalgia Critic, where it's like kind of bad sketches, but like not fun to watch if you're like.
I thought you were
12.
gonna say hi.
Yeah.
I mean,
Same thing.
mm,
For me, like AVGN was right past the point of being bad. Like Nostalgia Critic was well below that bar, but like AVGN
Yeah.
was like just far enough above that it was
AVGN
enjoyable.
is like I mean I haven't watched him in a while, so I don't know if I can make a clear and proper
Me
judgment.
neither.
It seems like his stuff isn't really funny enough that I still want to watch it, but I do have a good amount of respect for like how long he's been doing it and how long he's managed to like stay off the canceled radar, you know. Like he seems
Yeah, he seems like
Yeah.
a
Yeah, he
pretty
seems
neat
like a
guy
very solid
most of
guy.
the time because his other stuff seems cool.
even though he does get very angry about video games. Uh-oh, can't have that.
Who
Yeah.
the fuck is the
I have
irate
no
gamer?
fucking clue, dude.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I have honestly never heard of the irate gamer. Also, I had to
He
look up
looks like
Justin
Not
TV
being in
too, which was like Twitch before
Okay.
it was Twitch. The irate gamer is on the wiki for the irate gamer is called irategamerdoesnotsuck.fandom.com. Okay, wait a minute.
That's so good.
Is literally the whole point of the irate gamer just that he's not the AVGN? Because like literally the second sentence here, many people criticize the irate
Yeah.
gamer, saying irate gamer bears too much resemblance to the angry video game nerd.
Why would you open your own wiki like that? Or why would your fans open your own wiki?
Here's a good sentence. In 2020, The Returned in episode Busters NES.
I see. The Returned. Well, I've always wondered about Ghostbusters for the NES. I guess I'll have to watch Irate Gamers review.
There are
Apparently
you can
one
buy
of-
4 DVDs. He has 4
DVDs.
volumes.
I don't even have
That's good.
one DVD. How does the Irate Gamer do all this shit?
Apparently, one of the genres that he falls under is fantasy.
Huh. I mean, I could almost
Hmm.
understand
Living in a
that.
that he's not the angry video game nerd.
His whole life is a fantasy.
Just pretending. Just like, ooh, I'm my own person, I'm original, and then we come in and say, no, you're not, you fucking liar.
No.
Anyway,
That's what acting is like.
you guys have any final thoughts about Half-Life VR, but the AI is self-aware? Would you recommend it to a friend, is the question?
Mm.
It's a little bit long, I think, for what it is, but it's funny enough that I think I might. But I'm on the fence.
I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, same.
I probably would.
I
because
would
did.
I would quote Dr. Coomer, and if they found it was funny and asked where it was from, I'd say it's from the show. But I wouldn't go out of
So you
my way
wouldn't
to
lie?
be you should watch this.
Someone asks where it's from, and you just tell them a lie because you really don't want to recommend it.
Look, Gordon, haunted boobs up ahead. Haha, that's pretty funny. Where's that from?
Tits big ones.
Don't
Half-Life.
fucking ask me that. I'm not gonna tell you.
Idiot.
It's from Half-Life. You've never played it?
I would say that I did recommend it to friends. But I would say
But would you?
It is definitely a little bit long and like in a lot of places that could have been cut down upon. From like Act 1 is a little bit weak, I think Act 2 is like probably my favorite. Act 2 and 3 to me were the peak, you know? Right that little middle section. So like if you don't like it by Act 2, definitely don't watch the rest of it. That's just a huge fucking waste of time. But I don't know. A lot of it I really enjoyed. This really made me chuckle. Unlike Knuckles,
Yeah.
I chuckle a lot. I do a lot.
Yeah, this show is nothing like The Office, where you have to watch the first like fucking 6 seasons and then
That's
it
not
gets
even.
good. If you
Is
ask
that
anybody
even
that
true?
fucking watched
Isn't
The
like.
Office. Everybody I've always talked to has been like, I've always like, I watched the first 3 episodes and didn't like, and they're like, oh, you got to get to season 3. I'm like, I'm not watching 2 seasons of a show I don't like.
Bro,
Well,
you watch,
I've
like,
only
all of
I've
One
only
Piece.
ever heard people say that you just like don't watch. Just need to get to the second season because the first one's like 5 episodes
Yeah.
and just a carbon copy
I
of
feel
the
like
British
most
one.
people that I've seen have said that The Office gets worse as time goes on. You know, especially once like
Yeah.
Michael leaves and like kind of just all the
Mhm.
weird changes that they made further down. People were like, "Ew, I don't like that. That's not funny."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like rapid fire shit after Michael left the show.
Rapid fire shit.
Yeah, so nothing like this, because when Benry left, it was great.
I like Ben.
I'm a fan of Ben Ray.
I like this. There were a lot of great lines.
Don't lie to yourself, Dan. Come join the right side with Kevin and I.
When have I ever been on the right
I
side?
agree that at times Ben Ray
Yeah,
was
Dan's
just
much more of a centrist.
annoying and not funny, but there were also a lot of times where I thought that he was really funny, and so because of that, I like it. He's a security guard. See, he's like Barney, but he's
I
not.
would
sure?
not recommend it.
Anyway, suggestion time, right? Are we all ready for suggestions?
Yeah,
Okay. So, who wants to suggest first? Who's got something really good? We can all suggest today, unless you don't want to suggest, because then you don't have to.
I want to
I'm excited to hear one of Kevin's fucking mind blowing.
Oh, they better be mind blowing. I'm getting real excited for that.
I was joking the whole time.
You
What?
were joking?
Do you actually think
You
that was-
mean you don't have a suggestion that's gonna get all the votes and no one else is gonna get votes?
dare you?
I can't. I feel betrayed. And we agreed on not liking Benry. I thought we were brothers.
Brothers? What, you just thought that you were brothers?
It's a little much. Alright, I'm going to suggest the 1944 noir Gaslight, which is also the origins of the term
Whoa.
gaslighting, which I think
Timely.
is a little relevant to this group here in particular.
What? In particular? When have we ever?
Talking
When
about
have we
me,
ever?
But also, like, explain what the fuck it is.
All the time.
It's a movie about a guy who makes a woman think she's crazy,
Yeah.
Fun.
which is why gaslighting is called what it is.
Okay. I'll go. I'm going to recommend Satoshi Kon's one of Satoshi Kon's masterpieces, Paprika.
Okay.
It is an animated movie that came out in 2006 and is widely considered to be it's there's argument as to whether or not it's Perfect Blue or this movie, but there's a big camp of people that think this is Satoshi Kon's best movie, and by further extension, one of the best movies to have ever come out of Japan, at least since like Kurosawa.
Oh, so it's an anime movie,
It's an animated movie.
and it's made in Japan, so it's an anime movie.
Okay, if you wanna put it like that, but I mean, Christopher Nolan practically ripped it off in Inception, so.
Why does that change if it's an anime?
I think Kevin, what he's trying to say is that it probably doesn't fall under a lot of the same tropes that you consider with anime.
No,
I'm
not
not.
really.
I don't know. I'm
Also,
not
you
saying.
really
I'm not
just
saying
see,
I've
like-
seen this movie. I'm not saying that I can make any judgments.
Okay, I was about to say no, it's very grounded, but I realized the entire movie is about the concept of dreaming, so that's a lie. But it's definitely not like
Dark Boy and Lava Girl?
fantasy anime, stupid intense. Like it's you'd have to see
You
it.
have
It's
to see
very good.
So you're just dissing Ozu there. Like, if you're going to talk about great Japanese filmmakers, you're going to diss that guy? With heart.
Ozu.
Ozu.
I mean,
Story.
dude, Satoshi Kon. I'm sorry. I would even say that Satoshi Kon's better than Kurosawa, but that's just my opinion.
Oh, shit.
Wait, is that the Kon part of their name, or is that like the honorific that you're using?
Satoshi Kon that's his name, is Satoshi and then Kon.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm gonna.
Wait, Satoshi, that's Ash's name from Pokemon in Japan.
Yeah.
Yes, Satoshi-san is a great director.
I'm going to recommend the movie H. H. We found this
Oh, no.
on Netflix a while ago, just from looking up things that started with H. I think. It's about apparently two
As you
women
do.
named Helen. They're profoundly affected when a meteor explosion near their upstate New York City. Hey, upstate New York, we were just talking about that. Triggers unexplained events. There's something with dolls. I think we watched this for like 10 minutes and then tried to skip through it, and we had no idea what the
This is
fuck
a,
was
it's a
going on.
theory.
And personally, I'm really curious to find out what the fuck was going on in that movie, so that's why I'm suggesting it.
I'm nervous
hold on.
that
Before
we
we get
will
any
never
further-
find out what the fuck was
Wait.
going on.
Yeah.
Real
Before we
quick,
get any
dude.
further, I want to know: can we find this movie anywhere?
Yes.
I want
It's
a
on
link
Netflix still.
before we
I'm
vote.
sorry, hold
It's
on
not
I'll
one
get it
second.
for you, Kevin.
Give me fucking 1 second.
I want to see a link right now.
Can I fucking have a second? There is no H on Netflix. It's a series that takes place in Paris.
Yes, I know. I just said it's not on Netflix.
I
You can-
will
I want a
definitely
link.
be able to get it to you, Kevin.
Is it?
I want it proof now before we vote.
You're really gonna make me pirate
so
a fucking
confused.
movie before you vote for it, as if I can't? As if you're doubting me?
I see.
I looked it up online and I couldn't find anywhere.
What?
I think. I don't know if I actually looked it up.
I really just googled it and found it.
Alright. I'm gonna recommend the OG Frozen.
Frozen?
Like the one about chairlifts?
Oh.
Yes, the chairlift.
I thought you meant
Okay.
just Frozen 1 in
Okay.
comparison to Frozen 2.
No. No, like the one where they're like stuck in a chairlift and it's like snowy.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to watch that.
I don't.
Do you know what it is?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah?
Yeah, I know what it is. It looks terrible.
I watched a
Yeah,
review
it
for
is.
it, and honestly, I feel like
Yeah.
I wouldn't care much for it, you know? Like, it's...
Oh, so it's like boring and not like
yes.
funny bad?
Yeah.
Can I change my
No,
recommendation?
you just recommended it.
He's just gonna keep recommending things until everybody is like, "That sounds
Why
interesting."
kids
Okay, that's a
free?
recommendation.
Game
No, you're already
over.
going with Frozen. You can't fucking change it. Who's
Yeah, fine.
who hasn't said anything yet?
Me. I think I'm
Okay,
going
moving
to.
on.
All right. I'm gonna suggest. What's it called? I can't. At Eternity's Gate. It's Willem Dafoe, and it's about Vincent Van Gogh, I believe. So it seems
Whoa.
interesting.
Defoe and Van Gogh in the same movie? That's gotta be crazy.
Yeah, I can't believe they got Van Gogh to work
Yeah.
with him.
I've heard that guy's a little
Yeah.
bit crazy.
Oh, it's on Hulu. I'm gonna have to buy Hulu to watch this
No, you won't.
because I gotta watch it legally.
Yeah, of
Nick.
course. We all gotta do that,
No,
right?
you don't.
Anyway, let's look at Tim's, because I'm sure
The only non-movie, and also what the fuck?
Tim suggested a
He
1-second
suggested
video.
SpongeBob SquarePants Skin Theory. It's one of those wacky
How long
theory
is it?
videos, but the kind where the creator
hour.
talks about it very seriously and uses that tone to his advantage. It's also 71 minutes long. Okay, I came at this with a lot of
Every single sentence, I got less interested.
really.
I'm
I'm
curious.
so
I like
intrigued
that.
right
I don't
now.
I am. Yeah. One day when I was watching SpongeBob, I noticed something bizarre. That's how the description starts. This thing was so bizarre that I decided to spend months analyzing every single episode of SpongeBob SquarePants in search of answers. This guy
Okay, I'm
sounds
fucking
unhinged.
sold, honestly, I like.
Yeah.
I like weird.
Hey, hold on. It gets worse. What I ended up filming was a completely original and impossibly well-supported conspiracy theory that will destroy everything we've ever known that's been told about the Bikini Bottom.
The world needs to know the truth. This is the video that will change everything. Watch it
Watch
your
your
own risk.
own risk.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely fucking sold. This sounds like sort
Yeah,
of a
me
game
too.
theory,
I
but
hate
sort of
this.
something that Nick Robinson would put out. You know Nick Robinson, or
Yeah.
sort of something that like.
I hope he goes to
Well, yeah, I
Japan.
don't think he's gonna go to Japan. Or like something that that Brian David Gilbert would put out, you know.
Yeah,
No,
we're getting too-
Brian
like a
David
mix
Gilbert
between
and
all
Nick,
of them in a
I would,
row.
I would like to posit that Brian David Gilbert and Nick Robinson have, I don't know, higher quality content.
Oh, I get no.
Well, I mean, you have
Kevin,
to start
Kevin does
somewhere.
make a
We
good
haven't
point.
watched
Actually,
it
this
yet.
was a YouTube series, and now it's a YouTube video. I guess those are basically the same.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but
I
Do we
mean,
care?
I'll let it
I
slide
care.
this one time,
they're
just
very
because we
different types of
already
things.
fucking talked about it, and also these aren't
Yeah.
similar at all. And also they're YouTube videos, and I feel like we haven't watched enough of those for me. Like if it was movies, then I'd be like, no.
Oh, but we've listened to one
Yeah.
album, and that's
I-
enough.
If you
Yeah, it is.
listen, if we did 2 albums in a row and we didn't realize it, and like we started talking about how we wanted to listen to it, then I wouldn't care. I'd be like, sure, you know, Kyle, you can suggest an album. You're allowed to suggest an album, but you suggested something else, so you don't get that. You don't get that. Get fucked. Anyway, which is voting time, so say aye for the things that you like. Gaslight.
Aye.
Dan, you're not allowed to.
And
vote.
you suggested it.
Damn.
Oh
We're
yeah.
we're still keeping up with that rule. We're not
Been a while.
we're not just throwing all the rules into the garbage tonight.
I've been away for a while.
Dan forgot he suggested it because I explained the entire movie.
Okay, Paprika. Aye.
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 That's 3. All right. H.
Aye.
That's a solid
Aye.
2. Frozen, the one with the chairlift.
Aye.
Did Dan say aye?
Aw.
Okay.
Aye.
At Eternity's Gate. Aye.
Aye.
All right, that's 2. And the SpongeBob SquarePants skin theory. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And that's 3 right there. So it looks like it's between Paprika.
We've gotten a tie every single
Not
episode.
every episode.
Every
I think the
episode.
first episode we, not unanimously, but we voted.
We didn't vote at all in the first episode,
What's
did we?
paprika again?
What's what?
Paprika?
Paprika is an animated film by Satoshi Kon
Oh yeah.
that it's I can't really explain it without spoiling it, but it's
I'm a
a
fucking
very
idiot.
interesting movie, and it has to do a lot with like dreams and metaphysics and like
I want to watch an
I just
animated
looked
movie.
up
I like
Paprika
that.
without specifying movie and got the fucking spice, and I'm like, I know about it.
I like the.
I probably looked this
I
up
wanted
before I
to
did.
I like the
say what's
suppressed-
in spice.
I'm a fucking idiot in below Kyle's explaining the movie from Luke.
I was I
was a
I
nice
ate
Easter egg.
paprika today
and
too.
also hold on. Also, if this sways your vote at all, the American tagline for the movie was "This is your brain on anime."
That is so fucking funny. Is there a dub?
That's pretty good.
Oh my god, that poster is insane.
Is there a dub?
Especially with "This is your brain on anime"
All
at
right,
the top.
so final voting time. We're just gonna vote between the 2 of these. Kyle, feel free to vote for Paprika if you want it more. So, Paprika, I think that was 4 and 1 click and a noise from Dan, and the SpongeBob skin theory. Alrighty, so Paprika it is. Honestly, I was pretty torn on these. It was hard for me to make that decision. I might just watch.
Yeah.
It was closer than the vote would
Yes,
suggest.
I might just watch the SpongeBob one since it's only
No,
70 minutes.
I am being a little bit like over the top, because I kind of didn't want to do a cubic inch of sound on it, but I am gonna watch that video.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems
It does seem
It seems
entertaining.
interesting.
You know,
I'm at least excited to see what this guy is like.
why don't we if everybody ends up watching it, why don't we just do like a bonus inch of sound next week? You know, we just like we talk about that
A
for
bonus inch of sound.
All right, so I looked it up, and the top upvoted comment says the dub was good. Flip a coin for sub and dub.
What?
I watched both. I like the sub better, but
I'll probably watch
It's up
the
to you.
sub because
Oh,
I usually
I
prefer subtitles if I don't know the language, but I'm sure that the dub is fine.
Dude,
Kevin, I thought you were talking about the skin theory. I was like, what the hell is
Actually,
that about?
for games, I usually like the dub more. I've actually never thought about that until just now, but
here's the thing, alright? I tried watching a show the other day, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, wait, this dub is actually garbage.
wow.
Maybe it's only Naruto that has a good dub.
I'm sure Naruto has a great dub. No, but like when you think about it, if Paprika's only like 2 hours long, I assume, like somewhere around there, right? It's only an hour and 30 minutes, so it's totally feasible for us
Yeah, it's
to
like
watch
on
both
YouTube.
of these things by next time. Officially,
Mhm.
I'm
Both the
not-
sub and the dub?
officially, we're doing Paprika. But if you want to watch the SpongeBob Skin Theory, you're allowed, okay? You're allowed to do it in addition. But you have to watch Paprika. That's not negotiable. You can't negotiate on that.
yeah. And also, if you don't
So-
want to dig, the sub was like stupid hard to. It's not like that hard to find, but like I went to 3 anime sites and YouTube, and they were all just the dub, and then the 4th one had the sub. So like, if you don't want to look, the English dub is on YouTube.
Oh,
Cool.
convenient.
I just looked it up and they said the dub was fine, so.
Do you think
Dub
I
should
can
be
download
fine.
Paprika like the spice from the internet?
Maybe.
You wouldn't download
Checked
Paprika.
one website.
You wouldn't
Frankly,
download
I
that.
think I would, because spices are fucking expensive, and I hate when I have to buy spices, because then it's like, you know, you don't have to do it very often, but when you do, that's always like a big chunk of my budget for the day, just going to spice.
Wait, Kyle, what websites were you going to where you couldn't find it?
We don't need to name
I'm not
piracy
gonna disclose my
sites here.
sources.
Anyway, remember if you want to make a suggestion, so you want Kyle to suck my dick, or wait, is it? Yeah, it was you sucking my dick, right?
Yeah, that's what it is.
okay.
Yeah,
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 Send
that's
email
what it
us
was.
at acubicinchofsound@gmail.com. If
Yeah.
you don't want that, then don't. Please, for my sake, don't do it. No.
Wait, Nick, do you even check that?
Yeah, we'll do it when we go to Dave and
I have
Buster.
checked it like weekly and there are no suggestions.
Are there any
unfortunately.
There are
like
spam
spam emails?